How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SOFI, which was down 5.71% on the Friday. We've been seeing a lot of weakness in the markets, and we do know that SOFI does have earnings that's coming up on May the 10th. So I won't be wasting any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $6.44, being down 5.71%. On the low, it tested $6.35, and then on the high, testing $6.87. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 50.527 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 45.48 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, and we also seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below it's at 39.11. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So it's clear to see that SOFI is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So we ended up testing a low at $6.35, and as you can see, this is a proven area of support we have seen as of late. And as far as for the high, it was at $6.87. So we can see in the past, which is over 2 trading days, we struggled to get above the 21-day EMA. This was strong resistance, and now that it's set at $7.09, if we see strength in SOFI stock, at least if we can get above $6.87, that's the test that we're going to be looking for. They do have earnings that is coming up, and if they end up coming with a beat, then I want to look forward to seeing a pop above the 21-day EMA at $7.09, so that's something to keep an eye on. But if we continue to see weakness in these markets and continue to sell off, don't be shocked if we go back to visiting 52-week lows, which we were at $6.01. But again, I think this does provide an opportunity for long-term investors to keep an eye on it and give it some consideration. So overall, going into Monday, let's see how the overall tech sector is performing, and that can give us a good indication of what SOFI can look like going into earnings on May the 10th. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. So green rows indicate new positions and red rows indicate closed positions. So let's get started. So we could see here for the 6, we have Quadrant Capital Group LLC that purchased 926 shares. And then we have Life Pro Asset Management that closed out the position, as well as Plant Moran Financial Advisors, and as well as Bivin and Associates Inc. We also have QCM Cayman Limited that purchased 16,771 shares, and we have Independent Advisors Alliance that purchased 11,200 shares. We have Total Tactical Management that closed out their position, and we have BDO Wealth Advisors LLC that purchased 1,000 shares. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 59.15%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 13.07 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.7 million, updated 5 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.43%. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 5th, it was at 61%, and then for the close of the 6th, being at 59.15%. 5%. So when we take that into consideration along with the short interest percentage of the float being at 19.47%, SOFI does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SOFI. So we see on the inflow, it was at 54.95 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 64.20 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 3.11 million. On the medium, it was 33.25 million, and then on the small, it was 18.59 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 2.98 million. On the medium, it was 41.85 million, and then on the small, it was 19.37 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for May the 6th, we end up having an inflow of 0.13 million. And then analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then taking a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 5.52%. So this is a consistent range for SOFI. And knowing how volatile the markets were, and we have been seeing a lot of selling pressure, like I said, this is not too bad whatsoever. We'll talk about it further inside of the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for SOFI, when it comes to the price action, most recently we've been having some strong resistance at the 21-day EMA. Right now it is at $7.09. If SOFI can get above this level, then I want to see some continued strength. But knowing that earnings is on May the 10th, I am just not seeing it. And if we have weakness inside of these markets, the sell-off could continue. But I'd really want to see us continue to hold up at least above $6.10. We know the 52-week low is at $6.01 as well. So depending on what happens in regards to earnings, it's going to have a big time impact on where this stock price can go. And it is on May the 10th. So make sure you have that on your calendar if you don't have it already. If we end up putting up a strong report, then I want to see SOFI getting into around to the mid $7 range, or even making a move going to $8. If they end up putting out a weak report, of course we'll see the stock pull back and it'll be trading in the 5s. And if the report ends up being just average, it will still pull back. But again, it all depends on what the guidance is going to be. They did give us some updated guidance previously, so that's why I say as far as what they're going to be talking about on the earnings report, I'm not going to be seeing a lot of changes whatsoever. Now, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see that institutions have loaded up on shares, and we also do see institutions have also reduced their positions as well. And this is completely fine, but we know that as far as institutions are concerned, they're still showing some interest. And then taking a look at the short interest information, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. There's a lot of shorts who are vested in this play, but the only way for this stock to have a strong spike, we need to have that buying pressure. When we had that recent catalyst, that's what happened. But if we end up having our earnings beat, I think that'd be enough to actually give SOFI another spike to the upside. So that's why I say keep a very close eye on this play. But if you are an investor and if this stock is continuing to pull back, you must be excited about it, especially if the stock gets down into the $5 range. I know many of you want to add to your position in this area. So that's why I say as far as investors are concerned, there's a lot to look forward to for this coming week. And if you are a trader, just making sure that you have a strategy, you have a game plan. You technically only have one day to trade this stock right before earnings. You could do it the day of and hold right through it, but I know personally and also inside of the Discord, this is something that I don't recommend because again, there's so many things that could happen. They can leave the stock trading sideways and it will ruin you if you have options that are out of the money, whether it's calls or whether it's puts. So that's why I say if you're going to be playing throughout earnings, that is 100% gambling right there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. And look out for the video that I'm going to be coming out with. I will make sure to have that out for you guys Monday evening. And that's it. We'll talk soon.